activism and in their protesting. As a result of the protests of Iranian women, we are seeing, or at least I'm hearing, about potential reforms within Iran as a result of those protests, and I believe that achievement will be an achievement for the brave women of Iran who have been protesting. As far as whether this is an international issue or not, I believe that when not so much sort of the success or ability. Let's take it out of the context of Iran. I'd feel more comfortable talking if it were in my own country. So in my own country, if I'm being challenged by protests, if the more organic those protests seem, the more likely they are to succeed and the more legitimacy they have. Within the Iranian context, I believe in some cases, with some Western countries co-opting some of these protests, rather than empowering, sort of undermines those efforts. So that is just the sort of the differential that I would say, that the women of Iran can protest themselves, can achieve an enhancement of their rights themselves, and it'll be their achievement. Absolutely, women's rights and as a topic is something that we can discuss internationally and within the Muslim world. I believe some people sort of co-opt these protests for their own means, which undermines, unintentionally perhaps, their own legitimacy.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this briefing. I have a question regarding Afghanistan. It's a follow-up. Your top diplomat in Afghanistan was attacked and then left Afghanistan. Later, the Foreign Ministry of Pakistan announced that your top diplomat is not going to go back to Afghanistan. What does that mean, and why isn't your diplomat still not in Afghanistan? Is he planning to go back to Afghanistan or not?
So our HMO, head of mission in Afghanistan, Nizamani Saab, was attacked in Afghanistan. We have security concerns. We've raised them with the interim government in Afghanistan. The interim government in Afghanistan has not only assured us that they will address our security concerns, but they also immediately acted to catch the terrorists involved in this incidents, are conducting their own investigation. We too will be conducting our own investigation. I have not recalled my ambassador from Afghanistan. He was anyway planned to return back to Pakistan for our own work, for our briefings and other things. And I am confident that any security concerns that we do have will be addressed, and in due course he will return to Afghanistan.
So he's returning back to Afghanistan?
I am confident that the security concerns that we have raised will be addressed, and in due course he'll be returning to Afghanistan.
Yes.
Mr. Foreign Minister, thank you for the press briefing. Anshuman Apte from Voice of America Urdu Service. My question is, since the new government took over in Pakistan, have you seen any improvement in US-Pakistan relations? And if you could cite some examples of that improvement. Secondly, while importing oil from Russia, will you abide by the price cap?
As far as relations, foreign policy relations with the U.S. or across the board, upon coming to office, I found, unfortunately, that Pakistan's diplomatic relations with old friends, with new friends, with neighbors were fraught for a whole host of reasons. We have consistently and very aggressively over the past 6 to 7 months heightened our engagement, not only with the United States, but all our neighbors, our partners that we have diplomatic relations with, in attempts to bridge that gap. one of the places where we've seen a significant improvement would be between Pakistan-U.S. relations. This is reflected not only in the increased number of high-level contacts, both bilateral visits over here and the various delegations that have come from the United States to Pakistan. I'm particularly happy to report that an old gripe of Pakistan was and has been that Pakistan-U.S. relations have been hyphenated. In the past, we were AFPAC, or the various forms of our hyphenated relationship. Now, after my last trip and interaction with Secretary Blinken, we both announced that we are officially dehyphenated, or if we are to be hyphenated, then we are PAC-US rather than anything else. And I think that's, it might seem small, but it is a long-standing ambition of ours. And let me contextualize that for you. For example, if you look at PAC-US relations since 2001, say 99% of it is dominated by counterterrorism, war on terrorism, extremism. Ever since I've been economic opportunities for both sides. DFC, so many people who've come over. So I think it's a positive trajectory, and we'd like this sort of relationship based on mutual respect that engages in a whole host of issues. And I think that's the best place for US-Pakistan relations to be. I cannot pretend that overnight we'll address all issues, but there has been significant progress, and I look forward to working with my counterparts here in the future.
Nasir? We can take follow-up question later, and then Nasir.
My name is Nasir Qayyum from World TV, Pakistan. Foreign Minister, my question is in regards to the TPS status. Pakistan has seen the worst flooding in the history of Pakistan. Recently, the entire country was under flood. The senator from the New York Jelly Band and Clark, Congressman Clark, have written the letter to the U.S. administration to give the status of TPS status to Pakistan, temporary protected status, which not only can help Pakistan, immigrants in Pakistan, but the economic crunch which Pakistan is facing, we can have a little bit of relief from the temporary protected status. But I've been asking this question from the embassy in our embassy in Washington, D.C., but I'm not getting any answer on the TPS status. Can you just elaborate, Mr. Munir Akram?
Sure. So first of all, I'm very grateful to the United States. They've made a whole host of accommodations to the people of Pakistan post-floods, whether it's sort of money, their documents. Actually, it was reported on Voice of America. I'll send you the clip and the details later. I don't have them with me. I don't remember them off the top of my head, but there's a whole host of facilities that are available to Pakistanis in the United States as a result of the floods. As far as the TPS status is concerned, that we haven't, that I haven't got anything for you on. But I will get you the details of what has been provided so far, and once I know more about TPS, I can share that.
They just need a letter from the government of Pakistan. And as I spoke to one of the congresswomen, they said in 1 week, the administration will
Sure.
the TPS status to
Sure.
Pakistan, and that will help greatly Pakistan.
Sure. So there's just two things to emphasize. One, they've already done quite a lot, so that information will get to you. On the TPS, I don't have a
The last question.
Thank you, Minister, for this press conference. Stefano Vaccara, Voce di New York. My question is, we are here at the United Nations, is about the charter. I mean, Pakistan didn't support the resolution that was presented at the General Assembly about the invasion of Ukraine. So question is, do you think that Russia did not respect the Charter of the United Nations, and why you didn't vote for that resolution?
Thank you. First of all, I want to express how much we sympathize with the people of Ukraine. It's a devastating environment over there, where the people are experiencing violence and a whole host of consequences. And what's happening in Ukraine isn't staying in Ukraine. Unfortunately, as a result of this conflict and the war, and as a result of the associated sanctions, we've seen difficult economic times, difficult economic consequences for the people of Europe, for the people of America, for the people of Pakistan. The price of gas has gone up, food security issues. We used to import a lot of our wheat from Ukraine. As far as the initial resolution is concerned, the position of Pakistan was, particularly if you sort of recall at the time in which this crisis started, this war started, it was a month or two after the fall of Kabul. We just experienced a forever war in Afghanistan. The people of Pakistan were physically exhausted of conflict. And we're particularly wary of being drawn into another forever war somewhere else. So there was enough misery and devastation in Pakistan, in Afghanistan, in my region, for us to get drawn into what certainly is misery and devastation somewhere else. As far as the UN Charter, as far as international law, as far as UN Security Council resolutions and their implementation, Pakistan has time and time again emphasized that we support the United Nations and international law and all that comes with it. But we also note that unfortunately we are in a situation where you get to pick and choose, and where international law suddenly becomes binding between Ukraine and Russia. It's not so binding for the people of Palestine, for the people of Kashmir, the people of Iraq. I believe if this sort of hypocrisy was to end, it'd be easier for us to get the consensus on this issue.
Thank you very much. We'll take last question with Mr. Lodi, and then we'll finish. I'm sorry, we have taken much longer than usual.
Concert TV?
My question is there any new development for the issue of Kashmir, and very soon Kashmiri can free from terrorism of Indian government?
So, to the sort of, it furthers a point to the gentleman who asked the question before you, that when it comes to the issue of Kashmir, unfortunately, the world is content that UN Security Council resolutions go unimplemented, that what India has done in August 2019, unilaterally usurping the United Nations recognized internationally disputed territory of Jammu and Kashmir, is absolutely condemnable. It is outrageous. I think it was particularly bizarre that I was at the UN Security Council yesterday. The Presidium is with India, the same India who's advocating for reform to multilateralism, but will not allow the UN Security Council resolutions on Kashmir to be implemented. They'll advocate for reform to multilateralism at the United Nations one day. Then they'll advocate for bilateral solutions to Kashmir the next day, and ultimately settle for a unilateral usurpation of internationally recognized disputed territory within Kashmir. I think this hypocrisy speaks to the...
पाकिस्तान पीपल्स पार्टी की सिंध हुकूमत तरक्की की राह पर गामजन। कौमी इदारा बराए अमराज़ क़ल्ब दिल के मरीजों को फौरी तिब्बी सहूलियात फराहम कर रहे हैं। साउथ एशिया का सबसे बड़ा इमरजेंसी केयर सेंटर शहीद मोहतरमा बेनजीर भुट्टो ट्रॉमा सेंटर, जहां बैक वक्त 16 ऑपरेशन थिएटर मौजूद हैं, जो मुफ्त इलाज फराहम कर रहा है। बच्चों के इलाज और इमरजेंसी के लिए बैनुल अक़वामी तर्ज के 9 चिल्ड्रन इमरजेंसी केयर सेंटर्स, माजूर अफराद के लिए इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ फिजिकल मेडिसिन और रिहैबिलिटेशन, पाकिस्तान का पहला इन्फेक्शियस डिजीज हॉस्पिटल, सिंध में साइबर नाइफ रोबोटिक सर्जरी, बोन मैरो ट्रांसप्लांट यूनिट, गम्बट इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मेडिकल साइंसेज और सिंध इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ यूरोलॉजी एंड ट्रांसप्लांटेशन, जहां इलाज बिल्कुल मुफ्त फराहम किया जा रहा है। 20 से ज्यादा आला तालीमी इदारे बनाए गए। शहीद बेनजीर भुट्टो गर्ल्स कैडेट कॉलेज लाड़काना, बख्तावर कैडेट कॉलेज फॉर गर्ल्स नवाब शाह, जहांगीर पार्क, पीपल्स स्क्वायर, फिशरमैन चौरंगी, मुतादिद नए पार्क, सैकड़ों सड़कें, सिग्नल फ्री कॉरिडोर और बेशतर पुलों अंडरपासेस आज सिंध में ट्रैफिक के मसाइल को हल करने में मदद फराहम कर रहे हैं। कराची, हैदराबाद, लाड़काना और सक्खर में पीपल्स बस सर्विस आवाम को सफरी सहूलियात फराहम कर रही है, जबकि शहर भर की शाहराहों और तिजारती मराकज की सफाई, घर घर जाकर कचरा उठाने का काम सिंध सॉलिड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट बोर्ड की जानिब से एहसन तरीके से सरअंजाम दिया जा रहा है। तो वहीं हुकूमत सिंध एक दिन में ज्यादा से ज्यादा मैंग्रोव के दरख्त लगाने के 3 वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड भी अपने नाम कर